Hello and welcome folks to another modern stream. Today we're going to be looking at one of the, how can I say it, most beautifully built, delightful, burdensome, weird, strange, delightful. All of these words can very easily help you describe Reclaimer Amulet. Hell yeah. Because, you know, this guy still has some damage to be doing in Modern. The idea here, of course, is to use the Reclaimer Flagstone synergies in order to ramp. We, sacrifice Flagstones. In fact, if you have 2 Flagstones, that actually represents a actual ramp with Amulet. Like 2 Flagstones actually ramp you with Amulet because the land that you get off the Flagstones interstapped and Amulet untaps it. So sweet synergies going on. In fact, if you have 2 lands in play, you can use Reclaimer to sack your Flagstones. You get a bounce land, and then you get the land from the Flagstones. So lots of ramping all over the place. Lots of sweet lines with this list. Of course, we don't have access to field that anymore, so the list is going to be significantly different. But we still have access to your Flagstones package, having 1 basic plains and 2 temple gardens. Valakut is going to be our main win condition with the Reclaimer, but we can also use Reclaimer to find a Primeval Titan and Dryad. We have a bunch of fetch lands in order to facilitate Reclaimer. Vestige, Cavern of Souls, Castle Gurnbrick, Bojuki Bog, Kalni Garden, Hanwar Battlements are all of our, and Radiant Hunter, sorry, are all of our one-offs to go get with Reclaimer or with Primeval Titan, of course. And yeah, the rest of the deck is pretty much an Amulet shell. So we have Hanwar Battlements because mostly because of ease of activation. Not sure whether I'd rather have Stronghold anyway. Like, it seems kind of free to have Stronghold because you're splashing, you are doing a heavy splash of white, kind of by design already. In fact, we have such a heavy splash of white that we're playing white Cybercars. We're playing 2 Path to Exiles, 2 Celestial Purges, 1 Dayside, 2 Resting Pieces, triple Tireless Tracker, Force of Vigor, Reclamation Sage, Ghost Quarter, Emrakul the Aeon Storm, and 1 of Engineered Explosives. This is the list that Rodney Bedell, friend of the stream, took to a top 64 finish in this last weekend's PTQ. That's a 7-3 final result. And I thought it was pretty sweet. I think that there are a couple of things, like the issue that this deck has. I've played this deck multiple times in the past, and usually the most important flaw that the deck has, or like the biggest weakness, is that it sounds incredibly hard to build. So I think that there are definitely some deck building mistakes in this list, like almost guaranteed. I would guarantee that there's some way to fix this deck so far. Definitely in the mana base more than anything else, because like the spell suite seems very reasonable. I don't think you can do much better than the spell suite that we have going on here, and this split sounds actually very good to me. But I think that the mana base still needs work. Stuff like, I think that we're gonna run out of stuffs to fetch, for example. Like, we have 4 fetch lands, and we're also, like, our basics that we can go fetch, or our, for that matter, our planes that we can go fetch, are pretty taxed. We only have 1 forest, 1 breeding pool, 2 forests, 1 breeding pool, 1 plains, and 2 temple gardens to get with 4 fetch lands and 4 flagstones. And if you're sacrificing flagstones and you like naturally drew your plains and then like you fetch for your temple garden, like that means that you don't really have an engine. You only have 1 activation. So I think that the mana base is going to be the hardest thing to build, and probably what I'm going to be watching out for the most in this league that we're going to play right now. But yeah, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you do enjoy this content, and I will see you for round number 1. Hello, welcome to round number 1 with Amulet Reclaimer, or Reclaimer Amulet, however you want to call it. I think I'm keeping this. Double Flagstones means that we're going to have green mana on turn 3, I guess. And then we can use Gracer or Explore to set up our turns. Our opponent's playing Lurrus deck. Hopefully they're not playing Mill. What are this deck's advantages over regular Amulet? Like, why play this deck over other Amulet version? Because it has different play patterns. So if you are very if you are a veteran Amulet player, maybe you're like a little bit. You want to have something new. You know, you want to try something new. You want to try to challenge yourself, try to see new lines, etc. And this deck definitely provides that. Also, this deck has a 1-drop that can kind of win the game by itself, given enough time, which is something that regular Amulet doesn't really have access to. Like, your opponent needs to kill your Reclaimers, otherwise your Reclaimers will take over the game because they will just go and they will go find your Titans and they will go find your Dryads and their Valakuts and whatnot. Yeah, Reclaimer is just a very, very good card. Huh. I think I'm going to go get a Temple Garden here. There was an argument for playing the Semi-Growth Chamber there, but now that I drew the second one, what I can do next turn is I can go Explore into Grazer. And I can make 3 land drops on the same turn, which allows me to set up a Titan on the following turn, which I already have access to, by the way, so let's lead on Explore, because we can find a green source that doesn't damage us. We did not. It's not a big of a deal, though. I think we're still looking very good here. No, my opponent gets to play their Scourge, but like we don't care. We have a Titan, so. From a power in a vacuum standpoint, though, do you think Reclaimer loses a bit of power versus traditional Amulet? Well, it's less good. Like, your chances of turn 2 in are gonna be smaller, right? Because you just don't have enough enablers for that matter. No, Torborg, my internet just died, so that's why the previous league ended up pretty abruptly and weirdly. Can you turn to Titan without Amulet? No, you can't. You know what's really interesting here? Vestige allows me to cast Grazer. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which means that I can Titan next turn. That's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. I can bog my opponent, which messes with their Grim Lavamancer activation. By the way, nice job, opponent, having the sweet Lavaman border. I can Kalni Garden. Can you only turn to Titan off of double Amulet? Double Amulet or double Grazer plus 1 Amulet? So it's between Kalni Garden. I think I'm just gonna get Kalni Garden. Just as an extra blocker. And now this means that next turn I pay for my upkeep and I still have enough mana to cast Titan. I probably wouldn't go for this if I didn't have exactly enough mana to cast the Titan next turn, right? Because I pay for Pact 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Because the Grazer allowed me to play the land this turn. So if I didn't have exactly enough mana to cast another Titan, I probably wouldn't have gone for the Crumbling Vestige line. But because we do, I think that the value is pretty high. So even if they dome themselves for 2, like, yeah, this is just a good block. Because even if they dome themselves for 2 plus TBR, like, it's still fine. Like, it's still not lethal, so. Save for Blood Moon. I'm not playing around Blood Moon game 1. My opponent should just reveal Lurrus. Also, they're playing 3 colors. They're not playing Blood Moon. If they were just black-red, maybe they could have a Blood Moon sideboard plan, but that's just not really an alternative when they are playing actual Jund. But yeah, even if my opponent has like Dismember plus Grim activation, which is what they have apparently, wow. I still get to Pact here. And I get to play another Primeval Titan. You have to be kidding me. That's... wow. Alright. Got me. If that had been a Stronghold, we would have had lethal next turn. Oh no, we are not playing Stronghold. Oh my god, why are we not playing Stronghold again? Oh man, that's so bad. The last card is TBR? Really? Alright, opponent. Alright. You got me. Path Purge. I think that Rest in Peace is just terrible in this deck. I have not played any games with it, but I think that Rest in Peace is going to be very bad for us. Rest in Peace also destroys your engine. This card is just unplayable. With a Rest in Peace, in place, the Flagstones doesn't go to the graveyard. Like the Flagstones is not put into a graveyard for the battlefield, so it doesn't trigger. So this is just 2 wasted cyber slots. Also, I don't think that you care about this card in most matchups in Modern right now. Are there any decks that care about Rest in Peace? Like Dredge, which is a buy for us? Yeah. Not very good. Okay, so... I don't think I like Reclaimer too much in this matchup. I think I'm just gonna do this. Nope. Yeah, I guess. Turn 1 Amulet. I think I'm just gonna send the Path to the bottom. Feels good to see Path in Amulet again. I don't think it's gonna be very good. Like, this is just not a very good card right now in the Modern metagame. Look at my opponent Thoughtseize me on turn 1. Look at my opponent Thoughtseize me on turn 1. Look at how they cast Thoughtseize right now. Oh man. Not a bad draw though. So if we find the Titan, we can cast it now. So we have no cards that we cannot cast here, which seems good for us. Green black for Tarmogouf. Good attack, opponent, good attack. Primeval Titan. Assuming ease of casting is an issue, path is better than Dismember though, right? No, it's not. One of them gives your opponent a land, the other one does not. Pretty big difference. I think it's important to block because it makes my opponent's Scourge pretty clunky here. In before engineered explosives. I'm playing this because even though my opponent knows about this and doesn't know about this, this allows me to transmute next turn. I wonder if they're just going to suit up the Hex Drinker here. That's bad news for us. Just going to dome themselves. Just going to shoot themselves. It's the right play. It definitely is the right play. That's the right draw, though. That's the right draw right there. So as I said, I want to make sure I can transmute, so I'm gonna bounce this. I guess I messed this up here. Let's play this. I'm gonna hold on to this bounce land in hand, but it's important for me to have the mana to transmute. If I draw to Lurrus, I can transmute and play Titan the same turn, which should be lethal. I think we'll follow Young Kulata. We died to TBR, but and I think my opponent doesn't have any removal, because otherwise it would have been like my opponent would have been able to put themselves in a better situation. So I'm just gonna go for that Valakut here. Boom. Yeah, seems fine. Let's go in. Never didn't have it. Never. It was always there. It's just about knowing that it's there, you know? The amount of threat is strung together there was nasty. Yeah, I mean, it's what that deck is, right? Like a bunch of threats and a removal and some discard spells. Anyone know why Amulet stopped playing Gemstone Mine? That's your answer, my friend. That is your answer right there. The printing of Ancient Tomb made it a little bit tough to justify playing Gemstone. I don't know why I'm thinking here. Better, I guess. I guess they have a Hex Drinker. Just gonna go get Temple Garden here. This deck will be called Selesnya Pact Toolbox. God damn it. Can't escape it. Can't escape the meme names. Can't escape the meme names. 2 mana 5/5. Yep. That's real fucking scary. Alright, can we find a bounce land? No, we cannot. I'm gonna play this as a blocker though. Well, I mean, if we find a bounce land, we're just gonna win fairly easily. Amulet, a bigger combo. So many irritating names to be called this deck for, right? That's how you know you have a good deck. Whenever you have very, very many annoying deck names for a single deck, that's how you know you're onto something. Susa Vigorous Toolbox. Wow, we're going real deep now. That's just lethal. I love how they even tanked about it. Anyway, see you for next round. Alright, round number 2. Sounds kind of nice. Let's keep it. I'm gonna play a second Tellurian West. It's more likely that I find any bounce land rather than what's his name? So I'd rather play this. Is this mill? Please don't be mill. Superior Shadow player for last round showed pure skill. Yep. Oh, it's the spike deck. Opponent is a Spikeling. A Spikeling from the Shark Typhoon. Let's do this. We're set up to transmute next turn. Another spike deck that he can only make work. Yep. That's exactly what we're looking at. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I guess my opponent didn't like the Soul Herder deck that much. Anyway, we'll be back for round number 3. Welcome to round number 3. We had a close round 1 and not so close round 2. And here we're coming into round number 3 with a serviceable hand. This hand represents a turn 3 Titan. Turn 1 Radiant Fountain, Amulet of Vigor. Turn 2 Semi-Growth Chamber, play Explore, play Castle Garenbrig. And turn 3 Vesuva, copying Growth Chamber. Oh wow, that's sexy. That's real sexy. We're playing against Esper Control probably. Just don't spell snare me. Trade for a mana leak. Please trade for a mana leak. But my opponent's deck, my deck basically doesn't really have any targets for spell snare besides Explorer. So if my opponent doesn't really trade with that Explorer, then we're kind of fine. So I'm just gonna play a tapped land here. If my opponent taps out, we get to Titan them. If they don't tap out, which is probably what's gonna happen because my opponent is very likely playing Yendrex list, then we get to play Cavern this turn, and then we get to do the thing next turn. That's real sexy. We still play around Mana Leak, so I'm just gonna name Giant. Just gonna play a Reclaimer. Opponent can push it. They can steal it with, what's his name? None of that really matters. Masterfully playing around Mana Leak. They can steal the Amulet, which would be a little bit more annoying. But I'm assuming that my opponent is on Yendrex list, and Yendrex list has no main deck answer to a Cavern of Souls. So I think we're looking good here. We have a threat on board. My opponent doesn't know it, but we have 2 threats in hand. All right. So we have to expect some number of gusts. Tidal Striker sounds hella sexy, so does Emrakul. That's pretty much it. That's all I really want. All I want for Christmas is Tracker and Emrakul. Let's go. Tony Silence MTG. You go, boy. Thank you. Thank you for the 7 months coming back with the Prime sub. So is Shiftless Titan Shift favor in this matchup, you think? Damn it. Let's have a main deck answer. Sure. That's fine. I'm willing to take those odds, I think. Turn 1 Reclaimer. One does not simply ship turn 1 Reclaimer, am I right? Opponent can push here though. Yep, they're gonna push. Oh, opt. With their wrong art. Opponent. This book is basically just an advertisement at this point. Come spend your 2 tickets. I mean, I've been drafting sometimes Spiral. I have not been doing well. I have not been doing well in the format, but it's been fun. Please don't push my reclaimer. Sweet. So now if my opponent has Damnation, they kind of have to play Damnation. Discard 2. Discard 1. Discard 2. Flagstones for flagstones. I love that so much. That guy in coming back with the Prime Sub for 3 months. Welcome back to the Primetime Stronghold. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for supporting the stream. It's nice that printing more old border cards, so now I'm in another big they milk for premium products. It is what it is. So the good thing, and something that I figured out yesterday, is that it's actually only 12 tickets to Draft Time Spiral Remastered in Magic Online, which is amazing. Old Water Stoneforge would be great. Yeah, no arguments there. I love me some Stoneforge. Can't attack me. So this is the last Flagstones that does anything, so we're just not gonna keep the engine going at this point. So the options are to get Valakut or get Cavernous Souls at this point. I think I'm getting Cavernous Souls. I think my opponent is holding up Cryptic Command though. It just nab resolved, huh? So I think what I want to do here is I want to get a bounce land so that I can bog my opponent. Esper Charm is gonna suck though. They only have 2 left. Yep. They draw 2 instead of this card, making me this card. That's huge. I guess they just feel pressured by my battlefield, which I guess it's understandable. I guess it's understandable. So some respect. 1, 2, 3. This plays around my opponent having some form of some form of removal. Oh, I guess they could have Gusto. Gusto would suck, I guess. Like, it's fine. They don't have Gust. All right, sweet. Basically, Gust gives them 1 turn to answer my board. And, like, the top of my deck. So, it's probably still not great for them, because I can just pay for I can just pay for upkeep, and I still get to cast Primetime upcoming turn thanks to the castle. It's not uncounterable, but it's probably still going to be good enough. All right, thank you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next round. These are the hands that we're here for, folks. These are the hands that we're here for. Turn 1 Reclaimer, turn 2 Flagstones. Easy peasy. Storm, huh? So we have a bug, an instant speed here. So my opponent needs to do something about this Reclaimer before they can... I mean, they can have a different kind of kill though, right? They could just have the Remand my own Grapeshot kill. Just going for it. So I'm probably gonna give them Past in Flames. Kimpochi83 with a tier 1 sub coming back for 19 months. Thank you for the continued support, Kimpochi. Appreciate it. What are we doing here? We're definitely beating the Manamorphose. Ban the Past in Flames. So if they have the natural Grapeshot, that's a problem. But this means that they can't filter mana unless they have another natural Manamorphose in hand, or they can only use 1 blue source. It's a ritual. So they're probably going to get the Past in Flames now, and then they're going to Desperate Ritual in response. Which is a good play from them. I guess I could have, in response to the Ritual, I could have done this, but like this forces my opponent to tap out right now, which I think is what I want. So I think that my timing was correct. Get all framed Bojuki Bogged, opponent. Hell yeah. They went bottom. Probably gonna Ritual in response. They don't Ritual in response. Ah, so they just accept that they fizzled? Wow, they just accept the Fizzle. Well, that's obviously great for me. Your go. So now we're pointing my opponent on the squeeze. The good old squeeze. See, I'm just getting Valakut and just like making land drops. Like, I don't even need to play into my opponent's potential remand. Like, just... There goes that, opponent. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing, I see, huh? Well. So... 1, 2... 2... Sack this. Second Valakut. Play this. Bog you. Valakut. Valakut. Oh, I think I miscounted. Just back for Azusa. I guess it would have been better to back for Gracer. Because the Gracer plays her own remand better. It's the same, kind of. This kind of looks legit, Paul. When I saw Reclaimer, I thought this is you trying to gem one of your favorite cards in my favorite deck. I've done this many times already. I have tried this before. Reclaimer Amulet has been a thing for a while. If you go to my YouTube channel, you're gonna find multiple VODs of Reclaimer Amulet. That was pretty nice though, right? Like, I just won without never having to cast it prime time, never having to play into my opponent's remand. Like, definitely made a mistake on that very last turn. But like, my opponent cannot really go off when I have a Reclaimer in play, or they just struggle to go off, and like, it just gives us so much flexibility because we basically never tap out. That was pre-banned. This was like years ago. The first time I 5-0 with Reclaimer Amulet was like maybe 2 or 3, maybe 2 years ago. Not 3, but probably 2. Definitely very awkward that we have the Bujugabog in hand. But my opponent doesn't know that, right? Also, maybe... oh, I guess we're not playing... we're not playing Pact of Negation. Which seems fine to me, honestly. So now next turn we're gonna probably... Electroman. My opponent does not know that the bug is in my hand, so like, I imagine that they're not gonna go for it. They could do something like attack me with the Electromancer. And then they can use something like a bounce spell. That seems worth it. Because like, if they had a bounce spell, they had a bounce spell anyway, right? So this is just fine. And this is why I let on fetch, by the way, instead of leaning on any of my other lands. There's no way they have surgical extraction. They can use Bolt to kill this, but if they do, that's probably fine. Also, if they have Bolt, they would have probably started the turn with that, so I have to assume that this is going to work out. There are a couple of possible scenarios where this doesn't work out, like if they have Repeal or Echoing Truth or whatever. It seems like it worked out. This card is so bad. Now we get the ball into play, and now we actually have Vesuva to go find, so... So if we use 1/2 mana, activate Reclaimer, we get Temple Garden off of this, then we get Bounce Land. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can Titan if we want to. We probably don't want to though. I'd rather just chill, have the Flagstones engine, do some work, and then eventually whenever I'm ready, I can just Dryad my opponent to death. But technically, if I wanted to, I could Primetime here. Which is, again, one of the sweet interactions, because Reclaimer plus Flagstones plus Amulet actually does stuff. It's not just cute. There's actually some legit interaction. Like, it actually allows your Reclaimer to ramp. Like, actually ramp. We're just gonna Flagstones for Flagstones for now. Two mana. Find Cavern of Souls. The thing is that I just don't have to tap out. I just don't have to tap out. I just have to chill here. I think this time around I'm gonna go get Valakut, because it just gives me a lot more options next turn, and I can start pressuring them, and I can even potentially set up lethal on a single turn. Double Valakut plus Bounce Land plus, yeah, so I can set up lethal on a single turn if I want to. So I'm just gonna get Valakut here and end step, and then we can untap and we can kill my opponent. All of that while guaranteeing that they can't just go off with the Jugabog. So we've been that for sure, and we've been that. We can also be in Remand. I think I want to be in Remand. Here's Baral. But the thing about Baral is that it forces them to do something here, right? It forces them to do stuff on their main phase. And now they need to throw at least one more ritual down the drain in order to get value from their Past in Flames. If that ritual is in Manamorphose, that sucks, but It's just a normal ritual. So now we're just gonna have to go for Vesuva on Wajuga Ball, unfortunately. So we're not gonna be able to set up lethal. But what we can do is we can set up. Can we set up Titan? Yeah, we can set up Dryad plus Titan. So we're just gonna do that. It's gonna use up our Wajuga Bog though. But this is enough to kill me, so I just have to. Like, this just forces the action here, unfortunately for us. Suva, Wajuga Bog, Boyu. So we know nothing about their hand. They could have enough to kill me here. If they have another... They have to Lucksack into a Gifts and Given here. If they Lucksack into a Gifts, then we're gonna be dead, I think. Silun Division. Okay, I'm feeling pretty dead now. Yep. Okay. That sucks. Well played from my opponent, by the way. You know, just making sure that they only throw down the drain enough to force the issue, and once they do, they can actually just win from there with the Passing Flame. They can just like accrue a ton of value from the Piff with the Piff on the stack without needing to do anything else. So this is just deterministic, I think. Being that and being that. The empty doesn't matter because if we untap, we're probably gonna figure out a way to win. They definitely didn't necessity attack with Electromancer. Yeah, I don't know if that's what they were planning on doing. Like that might not have been a mistake. I don't know what their hand was at that point. Like it's possible that that was just a good attack. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what they were trying to set up, and I don't know what they were trying to achieve. Maybe they just knew that they have another dork, or that they could be able to figure out a way to get another dork, so they just needed to get the Reclaimer out of the... Yeah, exactly. Like they know that if they abrade, they're just throwing the abrade down the line, so they just need me to block in order for the abrade to be lethal. So maybe it was just a good attack. But it 100% depends on what the rest of their hand look like. Also, just realized they have stone count 14, so I don't know what's really slowing them down here. I am always down to finishing my lunch, though. I mean, free information. Free info is good. Not relevant info, but still info. Let's go to game 3. Never not have turn 1 Reclaimer. Let's go. Can we just lock target flagstones off the top? Just do that real quick. Guess that's not bad, huh? So I'm not gonna play around the turn 2 kill. It's possible technically, but it's extremely, extremely rare out of the storm deck. So the question is, what would I rather? I think I'm just gonna pass the turn here. I'm just gonna set up flagstones because I could have explored there. Like, it's not great, but it just does something. What we can do here is we can get to Larry West. And that sets up our Titan. Sousa. Land. Float mana. Let's get our redraw first. So let's do land, bounce, land, bounce, reclaimer, dryad, land. In the games, do you feel like the amount of planes is good enough? No, aggro them. The issue that this deck has, this is an idea that I revisited multiple times in the past years. Since the original list that I put together, which was inspired by something that somebody else did, which I always forget their name, but they always have like super weird versions of Amulet decks. Since the original lists, I did some weird stuff that I tried out, and I tried multiple versions. And all of them always felt like they were just slightly misbuilt. I think we yellow here. Yeah, let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Proclaimer's so good. Surprise! For those of you wondering what Reclaimer adds to the deck, we never drew a Primeval Titan in this game. The first Reclaimer set up the Tolere West, the second Reclaimer set up the Cavern of Souls. So the Reclaimer set up an uncounterable Primeval Titan over 2 turns. So for those of you wondering why would you want to play this list over another list, it's because it enables lines like this one. Who needs to Bujuki Bog you when I can just lethal you, right? Am I right, chat? Am I right? Am I right, chat? That was awesome. Alright, see you for the next round. Alright, after that sweet little match against Storm, this is the last round of this league. Not a bad opener. Not a great opener, but not a bad one either. One that I'm happy to keep. Let's please not be playing against the red-black skelemental kill all your stuff deck, please. Titan cooks his food on the volcano. Titan likes it crispy. Primetime likes it crispy. Oh, I should have gotten a breeding pool. That was bad. Awkward. I'm definitely going to get another green source here, so I think I'm just going to copy my opponent's peatland. So here comes Liliana. Any Valm's land or the one castle is good to win here. Crelamer is not awful. I doubt that it's going to be enough, though. Like, my opponent has to have a push or a bolt or something. But if we end up with Reclaimer, we should have enough to win. Annoying, but not the end of the world. Damn it. God damn it. I think I'm looking for a bounce land here, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna lose to this Liliana. We just lose to the Croxa. Like we just cannot set up a situation where we can get out of that Liliana. So we're playing against John Doe. I like purges. I like trackers. And I like explosives. Grazer sucks. Cavern is bad. Remember when people played Harvest Spire? Harvest Spire was a sweet card. We could cut one Summoner's Pact to play around Ashiok. I have to assume that my opponent's going to have access to Ashiok. Now that we have castles and Twin Timber, it's vital to cut the Valakuts and Dryas altogether to make the Titan Lights more consistent. Yeah, you could do that. I don't think I want to cut all of the Reclaimers because like the card is... It can, as we just saw in the previous match, the card can just win on its own. So I don't want to cut all of the Reclaimers, but... Sounds great. Explore so good. Rex Sage, if you want to place Damping Sphere, no. Damping Sphere is just bad. It's really hard to leverage Damping Sphere against Amulet. Really hard. If my opponent plays a Damping Sphere against me, I am honestly pretty excited about it. Great draw. I'll take as many explorers as the top of the deck is willing to give me. I don't think we care too much about Damping Sphere. I don't care about Damping Sphere enough to bring a card against it. My opponent can Wildfire me here, which is not very good. Unless I somehow continue missing land drops in my 32 land deck. McLean, thank you for the cheer. Been watching the stream a lot lately, love the content. Sweet, awesome. Happy to hear you're enjoying the content. Easy Explore here. Easy Explore. Easily the best card in my hand by a mile. Was it near the Prowess played Gist Flame before Lava Dart? I don't even know what that card is. They played Gut Shots. Yeah, just gonna play another Growth Chamber. Probably Liliana minus. Maybe Ashiok. Ashiok doesn't do anything. I'm playing 23. Bone Daddy was gifted this up to him playing 23. Thank you so much, Bone Daddy. Thank you for the support. And welcome McLean to the Primetime Stronghold. That I did not expect to see. That I did not expect to see. What's the most ideal list of Amulet at the moment? Something close to what we played earlier today. I'll bounce that one. Awkward. I think I'm just blowing up battlements. Is that crazy? They could have Maelstrom pulls though. No, I think I'm just blowing up battlements. Whatever. Because this also fixes my mana for Purge. So if they have Ashiok or something like that, this is just fine. They could Maelstrom Pulse here. That would suck, but they could still fine. Yep. We're still pretty close to Amulet, to Titan. I'm gonna preemptively play this Explosives on 3. I really don't want to be in a situation where that just gets killed by the Purge. It's not a big of a deal. The land drop that they're gonna make is a big deal though. I can also just find like any untap land and just win. I am extremely unlucky though, as everybody knows. Extremely, extremely unlucky. No respect at all for obstinate Bailoff, huh? Do I think Wildfire is good versus Amulet? No, I think Wildfire is very bad. So this is gonna be terrible if my opponent has an Ashiok in hand and I don't find an untap land here. Brutal, man. That's so brutal. How come I don't have Old Border Titan yet? I mean, it costs tickets. And I'm a primetime fan, but I'm also pretty cheap, so it's a bad combination. He can boil. I'm not playing around boil. Yo, Adam, how's it going, man? All things said, primetime Master card is pretty cheap. Yep, it is. I mean, it was reprinted a million times, right? So it does make sense for it to be very cheap. Push. Okay. Can we find a land? You got me. If they have Croxa, I'm gonna be very, very sad, but they showed me like multiple Stone Rains and stuff like that, and if they have Stone Rain or Damping Sphere and I packed, I'll literally just lose, so. If they have Croxa, c'est la vie. We got really unlucky this game. We got super, super unlucky this game, unfortunately for us. Maybe we can still get there. We don't have any we don't have a Gruul Turf. Awkward. Yeah, I don't think I like how this mana base is built. I don't think I'm bogging. I think I'm just Sanctuary. Just gonna replay Colony. Just finished full Japanese Amulet thanks to the reprints. Japanese Vesuva were hard to find. Interesting. I didn't expect Vesuva to be the hard one to find. I would expect Cavernous Souls to be really hard to find and very expensive. Alright. I didn't find land for a million turns, but somehow we still got there. I'll take it. Next game. This seems okay. Shout out to the Celestial Purge killing the Renan 6 though. Man, this hand. Can we please find an untap green source? I guess my opponent's gonna take the Reclaimer from my hand, but Alec the Crate, thank you for the follow. Those saplings? Excuse you, sir. They were plants. Excuse you, those were some classic good old O1 plan tokens. Have we talked today about how unlucky I am? I don't think we've talked enough about it. I am wildly unlucky. It's okay that opponent thought this is your hand sucks. Yeah, it's okay. I'll take it. The more I talk about it, the more lucky I will get. I disagree. I've tried this strategy many times, and complain about stuff makes things better. I can't guarantee it. I can't explain it. All I can do is I can share my expertise. Can't rent this one, kid. There's no way we untap with Reclaimer, right? If my opponent plays a Goifo, I think I'm gonna take the turn off to just blow everything up. So fucking glad Reclaimer isn't to 1 toughness. Dude, Reclaimer's busted. Reclaimer is completely busted. Stomping Ground allows me to activate Handwear Battlements, which is nice. So if we draw a Dryad or something, we can actually pressure the Wren. Yeah, the misbuilt mana is going to cost us this game, I think, because we drew the planes. We're just a little bit too far behind to not do this. Just a little too far behind to not do this, which really sucks. I really wish I could just set explosives on 3. I don't think we can afford to do so. I mean, if we do find a Primeval Titan, ha, nice Federal push. If we draw a Titan, we win. Yep. 100%. Prime time? Easy. Too easy. Too easy. This is all you, chat. This is all you. This is all you, chat. So we're gonna do Growth Chamber, Colony, and I'm gonna bounce. We're gonna bounce the Stomping Ground. If they blow this up, we still have double green source to pay. They could have a Stone Rain into Damping Sphere. That would kill me. Am I interested in playing around that though? have a pack to pay for. We can pay with 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Transmute. I mean, I'm probably not gonna transmute this turn anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna play around my opponent having a way to. I think generally would have gone a Stone Raid already. Yeah, but there was. I don't think there was a spot for my opponent to resolve a Damping Sphere so far. Maybe I get punished for this decision, for trying to play around this. I don't know if there was any spot so far, any clean spot for them to play around Damping Sphere, and Bloodbraid definitely is a reason for my opponent to not want to play a Damping Sphere. That sucks though. I may be getting punished by my decision. We're staying back to block because I have a hasty land. That's funny. Love it. Love it. So I think we just pass the turn. We have a ton of mana. Call against command could be an issue though. And I really don't want to discard this T-West. Maelstrom Pulse, okay. Okay, no Liliana Plus. Oh, never mind. I'm gonna play something post-combat. It's pretty good. So they can't have land plus discard spell, so. I think I'm beating Sanctuary here. Wow, discarding Ashiok? Jeez. Yeah, super punished by my play earlier. It's frustrating. Maybe I was just too coward. Never did not have it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think we do Vestige. Life total's fine. Vestige Growth Chamber. They used Maelstrom Pulse already. Got there. Yeah, I was gonna get ball on the swing, and I was gonna get another bounce land to put something that I don't care about being destroyed in my hand. All right, 4 on 1. How to fix this deck? Number 1, these Scarces are bad. So that's a waste of sideboard slots. This is not great, really. I think I'd rather have Stronghold. One fetch for another Temple Garden. Why did they discard Ashok if they didn't have his Spirit removal in hand? I don't know. I have no idea. We probably can't play another basic, unfortunately. The Suit of Spells is nice. Colony Garden did some pretty solid work. Bog is fine right now in the current metagame. How many white sources do we have? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so what can I find on white sources? It's just the white cards are pretty underwhelming. Which is a weird thing to say. Do we want the Boros Bounce Land? Okay. Yeah, I guess that we're playing... No, I think that we really don't want the Boros Bounce Land. I think that we don't want the Boros Bounce Land more than we don't want Battlements. So it's possible that Battlements is just... It's just what it is. Like, it's just what we have to work with. Breeding Pool was pretty medium the entire league. Maybe that's where we find a spot for our fourth basic. And we have one more sideboard slot. Path to Exile is just so bad. Will I play another league? No, I have to go. I have to go, so I won't be able to play another league, but every time I play this deck, it's the same thing. It just doesn't feel like a strictly better version of Amulet. Every time I play this deck, it's always the same feeling. Like, I go into it thinking, okay, this is like a fun version of Amulet. Pokemon Rager, thank you for the follow. And then I play through the league, and then Reclaimer does some ridiculous stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, wait a second here. Like, maybe this is just not like strictly worse version of Amulet. It's just a different build of Amulet that can do some nasty stuff. We have 11 turn 1 green sources. And I feel like I would want at least one more. Yeah, I mean, every single Reclaimer deck has a super tight mana base because the Flagstones package just requires so much, right? The Flagstones package it's a massive deck building cost. So like everybody all the time, just whenever I build any Reclaimer list, anybody all the time is coming and saying, oh, why are we not playing Blaston? Why are we not playing Ghost Quarter in the main deck? Why are we not playing like X, Y, Z, like whatever land? And it's just like, you can't. Like, you have to cast your spells. you have to cast your spells, and you need your mana to work out in such a way that you're not just all the way just stumbling on the way up as you are casting your spells. And the way to do that is you just need to devote a bunch of slots to lands that you wish you didn't have to play, right? But that's what makes Reclaimer a powerful card. Like, we could play a version of the deck that just does not play Flagstones, but that would just be bad. Like, at that point, we are playing a strictly worse version. What's up, Rodney? Yeah, we're trying your list. I think that there were a couple of deck building mistakes in there, so we're trying to see if we can fix them. Did you ever bring in the 2 resting pieces in the sideboard? They looked very bad. Change the Gracer for Sakura? No, I don't think so. Gracer just works better with your curve. I like Root versus Giant. I just don't think it's good enough. Also, whenever you bring in Resting Piece, you're just like, are you citing out some number of Flagstones? Because like your Flagstones engine just gets stopped by your own Resting Piece. Like, it's just bad. Like, if I wanted a card against John, I would just play another Purge or something. Do you want to have one Gruul bounce on? I don't think so. Maybe I do. Like, we did find ourselves a couple of times in situations where I really wish I had access to a Gruul Turf, because I could do that to then float the red mana in order to set up a haste next on the following turn, but I just don't feel like we just don't have the slots. Like, all of the cards that I want to try out, something needs to come out for those cards to be in the deck. One thing that makes your rips awkward is the same matches where rip is good. You really want to have Reclaimer Flagstones for both. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the issue. Like, and Reclaimer Flagstones for both is just better. Reclaimer is a much better legacy card. Yeah, just like literally every card ever, right? Whenever you're casting Primeval Titan and getting Cloud Post, yeah, that's better than just getting what we're getting here, right? Summoner's Pact can get Elvish Spirit Guide for you to kill your opponent on turn 1 in Oops All Spells in Legacy. Yeah, it's a better Legacy card. Like, all cards are better Legacy cards more often than not. There are a few more lands I want, maybe 3 Gracer, 3 Explorers, too many. I think it's a fine. I think it's these are fine numbers. Like, I did like the spell suite and the splits. I did like it a lot. You could make an argument for like cutting a Gracer in order to make room for another Explorer, just because, you know, Explorer is kind of a better card, but you still need to be fast enough, and you still need to have protection against the aggro decks. There's just such a huge deck building cost to adding Flagstones to your deck. That many rep effects makes this still an inherently powerful Amulet deck. Yeah, I mean, that's the point, right? That's the point. We could cut a Flagstones, which makes our engine worse, because we're basically always gonna have to take a, I mean, not always, but like, we're just gonna have to take a turn off more often than not. You think Dryad and Valakut are better in Legacy than in Modern? I've been playing Dryad and Valakut in Modern, in Legacy, and doing well with it. Been doing well with this list. And I think that Legacy is really ill prepared for Dryad plus Valakut. Cutting a Windswept for a Temple Garden? I did that already. I don't think I want to do that again. We have 3 Temple Gardens now and 1 Plains. And I think that the basic Plains is just a bad card. I'm still not sure we can afford to play this card. Most lands are worse in Legacy because of Wasteland. Yes and no. Like, sure, yeah. But at the same time, the fact that everybody, whenever they don't have Wasteland, it's that much more impactful because the format overall is not prepared to deal with those interactions. So that Levi pretty cool. This is the most ideal. Trying to play this deck this Friday. You can't go wrong with that list. Let me put it that way. I don't know if it's the most ideal. I don't know if I would really change anything. And you probably should change anything if you have a metagame that you know what you are, what you're gonna be playing against. Like if you know what your metagame is gonna be. So you should be making changes if that's the case, but. Means that glad that we see we're thinking about down similar lands. Yeah. What's up, Hadelix? How's it going? I agree, cutting the Plains. It's not like we need to adapt this call for Knight of Autumn to kill Blood Moon. No, for sure. But at the same time, like, we really need the Temple Gardens, right? And Reclaimer can fix our basic if in case we draw Celestial Purge or they side against Blood Moon decks. So like it's still not. It's weird. Like it's fine, but at the same time, it just feels like we can't afford to play it. Like it's a little bit of both. Like I want it, but I don't think that we can actually play it. Which, you know, puts me in a pretty weird spot. This deck was very cool though. This deck was super, super cool. That match against Storm where Reclaimer just by itself was able to kill my opponent 3 turns later was very, very, very powerful. I like that a lot. I think I'm just gonna go for this. The next time that I play this deck, I'm just gonna play 3 Flagstones and try to see how I feel about that. I was gonna wait for this today though. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you did enjoy the content, and you can get notified whenever new videos are getting uploaded to the channel, which is every day of the week. I always upload my VODs the day after I stream them. So leave me any comments if you have any, and I'll see you in the next stream. Bye bye.